Welcome back to the channel. Rarest coins. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating and mysterious coins in modern American history, the 1992 P. Washington quarter. On the surface, it looks like any other coin. Something you might get as change at a gas station, throw into a vending machine, or drop into your coin jar without a second thought. But hidden among the hundreds of millions minted that year is one coin. Just one. That shook the numismatic world and is now valued at an unbelievable $1.6 million. Yes, a single Washington quarter from 1992, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, has become one of the most valuable modern coins ever recorded. And in today's video, we're going to uncover the full story, the history behind the Washington quarter, the details of the 1992 P minting, and what makes this one particular coin so incredibly rare and valuable. Let's start with a bit of background. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of America's first president. Its design was originally meant for a commemorative issue, but was so well received that it became a permanent fixture in U.S. coinage. For decades, the coin featured the familiar bust of George Washington on the front, and on the reverse, the classic image of a bald eagle, wings spread wide. Now, let's fast forward to 1992. It was the final decade before the U.S. Mint would launch the revolutionary 50-state quarters program, which would completely change the look and feel of American quarters. But in 1992, the coin still carried the traditional design. That year, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 500 million Washington quarters bearing the P Mint mark. These coins were made using the standard copper-nickel clad composition that had been in place since silver was removed from regular U.S. coinage in 1965. What happened? How did a coin made in 1992 end up being worth more than $1 million? The answer lies in a rare mint error, one that wasn't discovered until years after the coin was struck. A single 1992 P. Washington quarter surface that was unlike any other. At first glance, it looked normal, but upon closer inspection, it showed signs of being struck using a proof reverse die, something that should never have happened at the Philadelphia Mint. Proof coins are typically made in San Francisco under controlled conditions, using specially prepared dies that create mirror-like surfaces and extremely sharp details. They are struck multiple times to enhance the design and sold to collectors in special packaging. However, this 1992 P quarter was a business strike, not a proof, and yet it had the telltale characteristics of a proof reverse. The details on the reverse were sharper, more defined, and far more intricate than any other quarter struck for circulation. Experts confirmed that the coin had been struck with a proof reverse die by mistake, creating what's now called a transitional error or a mule variety, a coin with mismatched design elements. But that's not all. This particular coin wasn't just an oddity. It was also in near-perfect condition, with no wear, no handling marks, and an almost flawless surface. It was sent for grading and came back with a nearly perfect score, making it not just a rare error, but one of the finest examples of its kind. After professional authentication and evaluation, the coin entered the auction circuit, and collectors took notice. The final price? A staggering $1.6 million, setting a record for a modern Washington quarter and sending shockwaves through the coin collecting community. Now, you might be wondering, how does something like this even happen? How does a proof die end up at the wrong mint, used on circulation coins, and go unnoticed? There are a few possible explanations. It could have been a mix-up during die production and distribution. It's also possible that a mint employee, whether by accident or oversight, installed the wrong die during a shift change. The truth is, we may never know exactly how this coin came to be, but what we do know is that it's real, it's rare, and it's worth a fortune. So, could there be more out there? Maybe, but so far, only one has been confirmed. And that's why collectors are now paying close attention to every 1992 P quarter they come across. If you want to check your own, here's what to look for. Start by examining the reverse of the coin under magnification. The easiest place to spot the proof reverse is in the sharpness of the lettering, especially in the words United States of America and quarter dollar. The font is slightly different, the edges are cleaner, and the details in the eagle's feathers are far more defined. Also, check for a deeper strike and unusual luster. If your coin appears unusually sharp for a regular quarter, it could be worth investigating further. Another clue lies in the coin's edge. While both proof and business strike quarters have reeded edges, the finish and precision may vary slightly. If your 1992 P quarter feels different in hand, perhaps a bit heavier or smoother, it could be a subtle sign of an anomaly. And of course, if you think you found something unusual, don't try to clean or alter the coin in any way. That could damage it and drastically reduce its value. Instead, Submit it to a reputable grading company like PCGS or NGC for evaluation. Let the experts take a look. Even if you don't find the $1,000,000 version, 1992 P. Washington quarters in high mint state grades can still be worth money. Coins graded MS-65 and above can sell for $10 to $50 or more, and rare error coins from this year, like off-center strikes, double dies, and clipped planchets, can also bring in hundreds depending on condition and rarity. But that one coin, the one with the proof reverse, remains the crown jewel. A true modern marvel. A 1 in a billion mistake that turned into a $1,000,000 treasure. It's proof that in the world of coin collecting, anything is possible. And sometimes, the most valuable discoveries aren't sitting in a museum or locked in a vault. They're hiding in your spare change, waiting to be found. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story and want more rare coin discoveries, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a future upload. And most importantly, don't stop looking, because the next $1,000,000 coin might just be sitting in your pocket right now. Until next time, happy collecting and keep your eyes open. You never know what treasures you'll find. If you'd like, I can also help you write a YouTube title, thumbnail text, tags, and description to boost this video's search performance and engagement. Just let me know. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Rarest coins. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating coin stories to ever come out of the modern US Mint. You might be holding something in your hand that looks like an ordinary quarter. It's been through vending machines, change jars, parking meters, and maybe even dropped under a car seat. But what if I told you that one specific version of the 1980 Washington quarter, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, has been valued at a jaw-dropping $1.4 million? Yes, we're talking about the 1980 P. Washington quarter, a coin that millions of people see every day. But buried deep within the billions produced that year, there's a rare and mysterious example so valuable, it has stunned the numismatic world. So what makes it special? Why is it worth millions? And how do you know if you might have one in your own collection? Stay tuned, because the story you're about to hear will completely change the way you look at pocket change. Let's start with a bit of history. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932, originally intended as a one-year commemorative to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. But due to its popularity, the coin stuck around, and for decades, it featured the same familiar design. On the front, a bust of George Washington facing left, and on the back, a proud eagle perched with its wings spread. Fast forward to 1980. It was a time of transition. Inflation was high, technology was advancing, and the U.S. Mint was adapting to increasing demand for coinage. The Philadelphia Mint, which had not used mint marks for many years, began using the letter P on quarters in 1980, making it the very first year that the Philadelphia Mint marked its quarters with a visible mint mark. That detail alone makes the 1980 P quarter historic, but it's not the only reason this year stands out. In 1980, over 635 million quarters were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. That's a massive number, and it means most 1980 P quarters are extremely common. You can find them in circulation today. Most are worth only face value. A few uncirculated examples in pristine condition might sell for a couple of dollars, maybe even up to 10 or 20 in a high grade. But somewhere in that sea of coins, something happened, something rare, something unintentional, and something incredibly valuable that a single 1980 P. Washington quarter was discovered years later with characteristics unlike any other. This coin, believed to be a striking error or possibly a test piece, was struck on a pure silver planchet, not the standard copper-nickel-clad material used for modern quarters. This anomaly was first noticed because of its unique weight, slightly different tone, and unusually sharp details. After extensive testing and certification, it was confirmed that the coin was a genuine U.S. Mint error, a one-of-a-kind mistake that somehow left the Philadelphia Mint in circulation. This coin didn't just look different. It was different. And once experts verified its authenticity and rarity, it hit the numismatic market with a bang. The story spread through the coin collecting community like wildfire, and collectors scrambled to learn more. Eventually, the coin was sold in a private transaction for a reported $1.4 million, making it one of the most expensive Washington quarters ever sold. Now, to be clear, this was not your average quarter. This was a unique combination of rarity, condition, and historical importance. The fact that it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint in the very first year that mint mark appeared on the quarter only added to its significance. Add to that the fact it was made of silver, which shouldn't have happened at all in 1980, and you've got the perfect storm of collectible value. So the big question is, how did this happen? There are a few theories. Some believe a leftover silver planchet from the pre-1965 era, when quarters were still made of 90% silver, somehow got mixed in during production. Others believe it could have been a test strike or a presentation piece that accidentally got released. We may never know the full truth, but one thing is certain. The coin is real, it's verified, and it's worth a fortune. This discovery has led collectors everywhere to start paying closer attention to their 1980 quarters. Could there be another one out there? Is it possible that more silver planchets were used by mistake? Or was this a one-time fluke that will never be repeated? Only time, and your spare change, will tell. If you want to check your own quarters, start by weighing them. A standard clad quarter from 1980 should weigh about 5.67 grams. If your coin is noticeably heavier or lighter, that's your first clue. Look closely at the color of the edge. Modern quarters show a visible copper core, but silver coins have a solid silver-colored edge. If your coin appears to have no copper line and has a duller, more solid appearance, it's worth testing further. Of course, don't clean the coin. If you think you found something unusual, get it professionally evaluated by a reputable grading service. Even minor errors from the 1980s can be worth serious money. Double dies, off-center strikes, and clipped planchets can all add significant value, especially in high-grade condition. While most 1980 P quarters will never be worth more than face value, this one incredible example proves that hidden gems do exist. One overlooked detail, one tiny minting error, one coin lost in time, and suddenly, you're holding a piece of American history worth more than a Lamborghini, a beach house, or a college education. The 1980 P. Washington quarter is a perfect reminder that in the world of coin collecting, anything is possible. What looks ordinary today might be priceless tomorrow. And sometimes, the most valuable treasures are hiding in plain sight, right in your pocket. Thanks for watching. If you found this story fascinating, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon so you never miss another incredible coin story. And don't forget to check your change. You never know, the next $1,000,000 coin might already be in your hands. See you next time. Would you like help crafting a title, thumbnail idea, or tags to optimize this video for YouTube search? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're talking about a coin that most people overlook every single day. It's not flashy. It's not ancient. It doesn't come with a mythical legend attached to it. In fact, it's just a regular US quarter from the 1990s, or so it seems. But don't be fooled. One particular 1994 P. Washington quarter shocked the coin collecting world when it was discovered to be worth a staggering $1.5 million. Yes, you heard that right. A coin that was once worth 25 cents now carries a value higher than most people's homes. So what makes this quarter so special? How can a modern coin, still young by numismatic standards, become so incredibly valuable? And more importantly, how do you know if you might have one sitting unnoticed in your coin jar right now? Let's dive into the story of the 1994 P. Washington quarter, the history, the mystery, and the $1.5 million surprise that took the collecting world by storm. Let's begin with some background. The Washington quarter has been a staple of U.S. coinage since 1932. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, it was originally released to celebrate the 200th birthday of George Washington. The design was so well received that it became permanent. For decades, the obverse featured the iconic profile of Washington, while the reverse showed a bold eagle with outstretched wings, a symbol of American strength and freedom. By 1994, the Washington quarter had already been in circulation for over 60 years. That year, the Philadelphia Mint produced well over 825 million quarters with the P Mint mark. That makes the 1994 P. Washington quarter one of the more common coins of the decade. In everyday terms, it's a coin that millions of people received in their change without thinking twice. But deep in that massive pile of everyday coins, one incredibly rare piece slipped through the cracks. A coin that shouldn't exist. A coin that turned out to be a one-of-a-kind minting anomaly, now valued at approximately $1.5 million. So what happened? What makes this particular quarter so valuable? The story begins when a coin collector noticed something unusual. The quarter had a completely different appearance from any standard 1994 P strike. It had a deep mirror-like finish, exceptionally sharp details, and a smoother than usual edge. After further investigation, it was confirmed this quarter had been struck on a proof planchet, using an unusually high-pressure die at the wrong mint. In short, it was a coin that combined several extremely rare errors, all in one. First, let's talk about the planchet. Normally, proof coins are produced at the San Francisco Mint, and they are struck on special polished blanks or planchets that are intended for collector sets only. These are not meant for circulation. But this coin was struck in Philadelphia, and somehow, a proof planchet made its way there. Next, the die. It wasn't a regular business strike die. It was sharper, more detailed, and likely used either in error or during testing. That combination, a proof quality planchet and a high-pressure die, created a coin with the appearance of a proof, but without the official record of being one dot. And if that wasn't enough, the coin was perfectly centered, struck with near-flawless alignment, and preserved in pristine condition. When it was sent for grading, the top-tier grading services confirmed that it was genuine and assigned it an elite grade, placing it in an extremely exclusive category. This wasn't just a rare error. It was a perfect storm of rarity, mystery, and condition. Soon after, word of the discovery spread across the coin collecting world. Collectors and investors alike took notice, and the coin eventually sold in a private deal for an astonishing $1.5 million, making it one of the highest valued modern quarters in history. So what can you do? Could you be lucky enough to find a 1994 P quarter worth life-changing money? The truth is, the odds are extremely slim. This was a true one-in-a-billion discovery. However, that doesn't mean you should give up hope. Rare coins have been found in the most unlikely places, in old jars, inside drawers, at garage sales, and even from pocket change. The key is knowing what to look for. If you have a 1994 P Washington quarter, start by checking the surface. A normal circulation strike will have a more matte or dull finish. But if your quarter has a glass-like surface, almost as if it's been polished, that's worth a closer look. Next, check the edges. A standard clad quarter will show a visible copper strip along the rim. If your coin has a smooth, solid edge with no copper coloring, that could indicate an off-metal strike or a different planchet, a major red flag in the coin world. Also, pay close attention to the detail in the lettering and design. If the words United States of America or quarter dollar appear sharper than normal, with crisp edges and deep relief, it might indicate a proof-like die or high-pressure strike. And as always, weigh the coin. A standard quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. If your 1994 P quarter weighs more or less than that, or feels different in hand, that's your cue to have it professionally checked. Of course, if you find something truly unusual, do not clean the coin. Cleaning can destroy the surface and severely reduce the value. Instead, contact a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC and submit it for authentication. Let the experts handle it. Even if you don't strike gold with a $1 million coin, 1994 P quarters in high mint state condition can still carry value. Coins graded MS66 and above can sell for $25 to $100 or more. And certain known errors, such as off-center strikes, double dies, or clipped planchets, can fetch hundreds depending on the specifics. But that one coin, the mystery quarter from Philadelphia, struck on a proof planchet with a flawless finish, remains a legend. A reminder that sometimes, even in our modern world, remarkable discoveries are still being made. So keep your eyes open. Check your change. Because the next $1 million coin might not come from a rare auction or hidden vault. It could be sitting quietly in your pocket right now. Thanks for watching. If you found this story fascinating, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future uploads. We've got more incredible coin stories coming your way. Until then, keep collecting, stay curious, and never underestimate the power of a single coin. See you in the next video. Would you like help crafting a thumbnail text, video title, and SEO-optimized description to go with this script? I'd be happy to assist. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're uncovering the incredible story of one of the most surprising coins to ever come out of American pocket change, the 1995 D Washington quarter. It's a coin most people wouldn't give a second look. But buried among the hundreds of millions produced that year is one rare piece that has stunned the collecting world. A coin that went from ordinary to extraordinary, valued at an unbelievable $1.2 million. Yes, you heard that right. $1.2 million for a quarter from 1995. So how is that possible? What makes this coin so special? And more importantly, how can you tell if you might be holding one of these rare gems in your own collection? Stick around, because this is one coin story you don't want to miss. Let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter has been a key part of American coinage since 1932. It was originally introduced to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. Over the years, the design stayed relatively consistent. The obverse features the classic profile of Washington, and until the late 1990s, the reverse showed a powerful eagle clutching arrows and olive branches, a symbol of strength and peace. In 1995, the U.S. Mint produced hundreds of millions of quarters. At the Denver Mint alone, over 1.1 billion Washington quarters were struck. That means the 1995 D quarter, on the surface, is an extremely common coin. You can find them in circulation, in change jars, in parking meters, practically everywhere. But one coin, one mysterious variety, has stood out from the rest. Among all of those billions, a unique 1995 D. Washington quarter was discovered years later, and this was no ordinary coin. This particular quarter showed signs of being struck on the wrong planchet, with characteristics that didn't match any known standard from that year. It appeared to have been minted on a 25-cent silver planchet, even though quarters had not been made of silver since 1964. The coin also had extremely sharp detail, a deeper strike, and subtle design features that hinted at a potential test piece or experimental strike never meant for public circulation. This coin didn't just look unusual, it was different in every measurable way. It had an incorrect weight. It had a solid edge with no copper line. It had a slightly different ring when dropped. And perhaps most telling of all, it passed metallurgical testing that confirmed it was not made of the standard copper-nickel-clad alloy. Instead, it contained silver, a shocking anomaly for a 1995 coin from the Denver Mint. Once this coin was sent for professional evaluation, things escalated quickly. It was authenticated and certified by a top-tier grading service. Experts reviewed every aspect of the coin and concluded that it was a legitimate U.S. Mint error, likely created during a transition or testing phase, possibly the result of leftover blank planchets from an earlier silver coin program, or even an accidental mixing of materials meant for another denomination. After gaining attention from serious collectors, the coin went to auction, and that's when the price soared. When the bidding stopped, this one-of-kind 1995 D. Washington quarter sold in a private deal for a stunning $1.2 million. It instantly became one of the most valuable modern coins in existence. What can we learn from this? First, that rare errors do happen, even in the modern era. Second, that not all rare coins are old. And third, that sometimes a single minting mistake can turn an ordinary piece of change into a life-changing treasure. Now, before you go digging through your old coins, here's what to look for. A regular 1995 D quarter should weigh approximately 5.67 grams and have a visible copper line along the edge. If your quarter feels heavier or lighter, or if the edge appears solid and silver-colored with no copper core, that's a potential red flag. Next, look at the strike. If the design looks sharper than usual, with bold rims and high-relief details, it might indicate a different metal composition or die pressure. Pay special attention to coins that look or feel different. Also, any unusual coloration, off-metal tones, or mirror-like surfaces are worth investigating. Even if you don't find the million-dollar coin, 1995, D quarters can still be worth collecting. In high mint state condition, with no wear and strong details, they can sell for $5 to $20 or more. If you come across one graded MS-67 or higher, you could be looking at over $100. And certain minor errors, like off-center strikes, double dies, and clipped planchets from this year, are known to exist and can fetch good money depending on rarity and condition. But that one coin, that silver-based error quarter from the Denver Mint, remains the holy grail of 1995 D quarters. A true one-in-a-billion mistake that escaped the Mint's quality control, found its way into circulation, and eventually into the hands of someone sharp enough to recognize it wasn't just another coin. It's a reminder that the world of coin collecting is full of surprises. You don't need to be a professional numismatist. All you need is curiosity, attention to detail, and maybe a little bit of luck. Because sometimes, life-changing treasures are hiding right in your spare change. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want more stories about rare coins, valuable errors, and modern treasures still waiting to be discovered, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tap that notification bell so you never miss an update. And before you leave, take one last look at your change. You just might be holding the next million-dollar coin. Until next time, keep looking, keep learning, and keep collecting. If you'd like, I can also suggest a video title, description, and tags to help your video rank better on YouTube. Just let me know. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating stories in American coin collecting. We're talking about a simple pocket change coin, the Washington quarter from 1998, specifically the Denver Mint version, also known as the 1998 D, and how one of these coins shocked the numismatic world with a value that soared all the way to $1.2 million. Yes, you heard that right. $1.2 million for a quarter that most people wouldn't look at twice. How did a coin that was minted by the millions end up being worth a fortune? What makes the 1998 D Washington quarter so special? And how can you tell if you might be holding on to one of these rare treasures? Stick with me, because we're about to uncover the hidden story behind one of America's most surprising modern coin discoveries. First, let's go back a bit and talk about the Washington quarter itself. The Washington quarter has been a part of American coinage since 1932. It was originally introduced to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. Over the years, the design evolved, but the obverse has almost always featured the iconic profile of Washington. The reverse, at least until 1999, featured the majestic eagle, wings spread, perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches below. This design stayed consistent until the launch of the 50-state quarters program in 1999, which completely changed how Americans viewed their change. Now, 1998 was the final year before the big design overhaul. The Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of these coins in that year. In fact, over 800 million 1998 D Washington quarters were produced, making it a very common coin by all normal standards. Most of these coins are still in circulation today, and millions are tossed into jars, vending machines, and change drawers every single day. So what makes one of them worth over $1 million? Well, this is where things get really interesting. Among all those standard quarters, there's one 1998 D specimen that stands out, and I'm talking about a coin that has stunned collectors and experts alike. What makes it so valuable isn't just its condition, although that's part of it. It's also the fact that this specific quarter was struck using a proof die on a regular circulation planchet. Let me explain. Proof coins are special editions that are struck multiple times using highly polished dies to bring out stunning detail. They're made in very limited numbers, usually at the San Francisco Mint, and sold directly to collectors. They're not meant for general circulation. But somehow, a proof die, probably by mistake, ended up being used at the Denver Mint in 1998. That's already rare. But what happened next is even more incredible. That die was used, even if only briefly, to strike standard business strike quarters. The result? A small handful of coins, possibly only one confirmed so far, with the design clarity, depth, and mirrored features of a proof, but minted on normal materials intended for general circulation. Collectors call these coins transitional errors or minting anomalies. They are not supposed to exist, and that's exactly what makes them so valuable. Now here's the jaw-dropping part. One of these quarters ended up in the hands of a private collector, and after careful analysis, it was certified by a top grading company as a genuine transitional strike, possibly the only known example of its kind. That coin, in near-perfect condition, eventually made headlines when it was valued at, you guessed it, over $1.2 million. This coin was graded at a near-flawless mint state 70 by one of the most respected grading services. That's the highest grade a coin can receive, meaning it's in absolutely perfect condition with no visible imperfections under magnification. Combine that with the rarity of the error and the mystery behind its creation, and you've got a coin that's not just valuable. It's historic. So, can you find one of these in your pocket change? Honestly, the odds are incredibly low. This kind of error is so rare that only one confirmed example exists. But the real lesson here isn't just about this $1 million coin. It's about paying attention. Every coin has a story. Some are common, some are rare, and some, like this 1998 D Washington quarter, break all the rules. There are also other valuable 1998 quarters to look out for. For example, if your 1998 D quarter has a strong strike, no wear, and especially if it has deep mirror-like surfaces on both sides, it might be worth getting evaluated. Error coins from this era, such as off-center strikes, double dies, or coins struck on the wrong planchet, can also fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on rarity and condition. And while most 1998 D quarters are only worth face value, those in pristine uncirculated condition can sell for $5 to $10 or more, especially if they've been professionally graded. So don't overlook those quarters in your change jar. You never know what you might be holding. In the world of coin collecting, sometimes it takes just one coin to change your life, and the story of the 1998 D Washington quarter proves that even the most ordinary coin can become extraordinary under the right circumstances. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins, minting errors, and hidden treasures that might be hiding in your pocket change, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the fascinating world of numismatics. Until next time, keep collecting and keep looking closely, because the next $1 million coin might just be in your pocket right now. Let me know if you'd like me to format this into a video caption, add timestamps, or suggest thumbnail/title ideas.